Hi, this is Belinda Colubriale and this is Talking High Performance with Belle. So I'm making this podcast for people who want to live their best life, people who know that there's more in them, but they just don't know how to get it. So there's a gap, something's missing, I'm making it for them. Hey, it's Belle. Welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about how to live an aligned and empowered life. Don't forget to leave us a review and subscribe so that we can reach more listeners. So let's jump straight in. So when I was thinking about creating these episodes, I was really keen on delivering bite-sized pieces of information and value that would help you feel more motivated and inspired. And that's where the alignment part came in for me, because I thought if it was me, what would I want to listen to? And for me, it's, snippets, 10 to 15 minutes when I'm driving, in between pickups or when I'm in between client calls of something that I feel would empower me, would motivate me. And so I thought I'd start with that today. And when we talk about, the path to personal congruence, I want to talk about that, how you live a life where you feel aligned, but also one that allows you to feel really empowered. And today, throughout the episode, I'm going to talk about 4 ways to begin that journey of personal congruence and break it up into four different sections. So why is it important? And how does living a life of congruence help you to feel aligned and empowered? And when we're congruent, it means that we're consistently striving to be our best. So we're stretching ourselves. We're being a person that represents what we really believe. And it means what we're doing and what we're saying is the same thing. And you might not feel like what you do and what you say can be the same thing all the time, but it's recognizing that, I wish I said that. There was an opportunity there for me to speak my truth. And that's really empowering. And I feel like the more that we can do that, the more that we can speak our truth, the more that we can sort of step into the uncomfortable. And when everyone's saying yes, 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 and you want to say no, being able to do that. And, it means that if we say something, we stick to what we say. And not to say that we're perfect, but meaning that we want to improve and we want to be better. And when we do that, and the more we do that, the more we're living an aligned and empowered life, because we know that we're in control and we know that the decisions we make are dependent on our behaviours and on our thought process. So how does then living a life of congruence help us? So it helps us to be personally fulfilled. So when we live a life where we're congruent to what we want to do, who we want to be, we've got a real sense of purpose. So when our actions align with our beliefs and our values, we feel that satisfaction that comes from living a life where what we portray is who we really, really are. And this helps us to grow. So it helps us to have, a much deeper understanding of our values, our beliefs, but it also helps us to reflect. And this was one of the very first episodes I spoke about, self-reflection. When we can reflect and go, the year before, what did it look like? What did I learn? Where could I have shown up better? That's really empowering and allowing us to feel that aligned and congruent life. And also it leads to authenticity. When we can reflect and go, okay, that's not ideal. I don't want to do that anymore. Or, you know what, that was great. Let's bring that into the next year. It really helps us to grow and move forward. Being congruent also helps us to improve our relationships. And, when we're living a life of congruence, we're more likely to attract healthy, and maintain those relationships with people who share similar beliefs. And this also has a flip side where sometimes the more congruent we are with ourselves, the more that we find there's differences in our relationships around us. But we'll chat more about that in another episode. But when we're congruent and we're aligned, we attract the right people around us who we want to be in our circle and who they feel they want us in their circle as well. And that's really, really empowering. And when we do this, and we live a life where what we're speaking and what we're saying is how we're acting, it allows us to reduce stress. So, our actions, how we're acting and what we actually believe, there's no conflict there. And when there's no conflict there, there's no reason for us to get stressed and anxious on things that previously may have frustrated us, because what we say and what we do, they're the same thing. And this is really good for, helping us with mindfulness, for, that inner peace, that inner calm. And if we think about our lives, it's when we feel that we're conflicting or it's conflicting in these beliefs, this is when we feel like we're not being true to ourselves, and there's that lack of congruency that normally comes with that. And so it's really important. And, living a life where what you're saying and what you're doing, you're working towards it being the same thing, and it is the same thing, is really empowering. And it makes you feel, if I had to put a feeling on it, it makes you feel a sense of lightness. And so it's much easier to go, yes, I want more of that. No, I don't want any more of that in my life. So how do you begin then the journey to becoming the most congruent version of yourself? And I want to break it up into sections because, I'm all about the steps. So section 1 is health. So when it comes to your health, this means aligning your actions with your health goals and with your values. So what I mean by that is, if your plan is to, eat healthy 5 days a week, but you find yourself, having Macca's 5 days a week, you're not being congruent to what you want. So it's identifying your health goals. So taking some time to reflect upon what's important when it comes to your health. So is it staying physically fit? Is it eating a balanced diet? Is it getting enough sleep? And aligning your life to work around that. And, for me, it means less chips on the couch at night. So that's my struggle when it comes to health. But because I love, my Tyrrell's aged cheddar and cheese chips, but that's enough about that. I could talk about them all day long. But, for me, I know, okay, when I sit on the couch, I go, okay, Belle, let's have some chips. I'm like, no. Some nights I go, yes, because I just want them. Other nights I'll go, no. In fact, last night my husband said, have we had any chips tonight? And I said, actually, I haven't. He's like, oh, it's a miracle. But, and it's going, okay, these are my goals. How many chips do I want to have? Or maybe I'm not going to have any. Maybe I'm going to have half a bowl. But, it's going, okay, does that align to the best version of you? And again, it's not saying you need to be perfect. It's being, realistic in what your goals are. But what does it look like, and where do you struggle, and where's there room to grow and improve? The next part that I want to talk about is our career. So recognizing, what do you value the most in your job? So what is most important in your career? So if it's autonomy and you keep complaining that you hate your job, but you're not doing anything to change it, maybe it's time to think about work in a different way. If it's financial reward, but that, getting paid financially much better means you have to increase your hours, but you're complaining about increasing your hours, but you want the financial reward, where is there a lack of congruence in that? And how do you, work your way around that in a way that feels good to you? If it's, you want something that's close to home, but you're working far away, because you're getting paid more money. And, if you move closer to home, the paycheck won't be the same. Where is there a lack of congruence, and how do you start to bridge that gap? And this is all about knowing our values and setting expectations. Sometimes you might go, oh, I don't like working this far from home, but for the next year, this is what I'm going to have to do. And just aligning what your personal goals are and your priorities, going, okay, my best life would mean, where I work and how much I get paid would look different. But in the interim, I feel good knowing that I'm setting up this plan and this is congruent to where I see my future, and just aligning it like that. It could also be setting career goals. Do you set long-term career goals and break them down to stay motivated and focused to help you reach the goals that you want to reach? And that's really important. So if you think about your career, where is there a lack of congruence there? The third area is relationships and having courage in conversations. So honesty is such an important aspect of congruency in relationships, and being transparent with our thoughts, with our feelings. And sometimes, we'll speak our truth and it won't come out right, or you'll have the way it's going to go in your head, but when you actually say it or when you text it, it sounds a little bit different. And, that can cause friction, but it's about going, okay, as two adults, how do we have the conversation to go, you know what, you could have shown up better there, or, I could have shown up better here, and going, okay, moving forward, let's try and, work that a different way, and just always being willing to grow and learn. In relationships, you can also know that, it's about respecting boundaries or protecting your boundaries. And this is something that I focus on a lot with my clients. So, what are the boundaries that you need to have or that you need to put up to protect you, whether it's, at work, whether it's in certain relationships, and how do situations play out in your life where, you can feel more congruent to who you want to be and what you want those relationships to look like. So sometimes, I'll talk to a client and there's somebody that's really, really drained their energy. But how do we put those boundaries in place? So next time they talk to the same person, they don't get that same feeling. So that's really, really important in helping us to maintain our congruence. And again, sometimes that can be having that honest conversation about, this is what I want, this is what I'm feeling, and how do we make that change moving forward? And the last part is self-care. So when it comes to congruence, what are your self-care needs? Like, are you somebody that constantly would like to be around people? Are you somebody that needs your own space? So for me, I need my own space. I need time by myself in order to recharge, and I need to make that a priority. And I make that a priority by getting up early in the morning. I'll make that a priority by sometimes going on walks by myself. But it's what do you need in order to look after yourself, to live your most congruent life? So I know that, I need time. I need to be a working mum in order to feel like, I'm living my most congruent life where I'm fulfilled. I know that me working makes me a better mum. There are other people that feel like not working makes them a better mum. And so it's all about, how do you live a life that's congruent to you and what you need? It doesn't have to be the same as somebody else, but what can you do to go, okay, this is what I need to make me the most authentic version of myself? And it's really important, how do you show up more consistently each day in the most authentic version of yourself? And what do you need to do in each of those 4 areas that I mentioned in order to move the needle forward? Something really important to think about. So congruence, and how can different areas of your life, how can you show up more congruently moving forward? So there you have it, how to begin the path to personal congruence and how this will help you to feel aligned and empowered moving forward. So only you can create the life that you want and make changes that are congruent to you. So you're the one that has the keys, nobody else can do it for you. So I encourage you to think about it and go, this is what I need, this is what I don't need, and how do I move forward in a way that excites me and motivates me? So I really encourage you to go through those 4 sections and look at, where are you showing up as the most congruent version of yourself, but also where are you struggling and where is there room to improve? So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, then you're going to love next month's episodes, where I'll be chatting to you about becoming you and starting the real journey to authenticity. Until next time, live a successful, purposeful, and fully charged life. Your coach, Bel.